Hi guys, and welcome to my weekly chat for this past episode of The Walking Dead. So basically, I felt like my first weekly chat was a little bit of a trial run. I was having a hard time talking about some things. As you could see, I kind of like paused a lot because I didn't want to give anything away that happens in the comics. Now, the thing is that Walking Dead has strayed away from the comics before. They've done things exactly the same. They've done things, substitute characters, whatever. So I even don't really know what exactly is going to come with every episode. However, when you have read the comics, you kind of have a guideline of where everything's going to go. So what I'm going to do for weekly chats is I'm going to talk about the episode, talk about how I felt like they portrayed things in the episode and stuff like that. And then I'm just going to pose questions to you guys. So that way, if you haven't read the comics and you don't want to know, you're like, I'm good going in blind, it's all good. Just, you know, and you guys can kind of answer, and it can be a chat sort of that way. Does that sort of make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I have my notepad. That's what I'm looking at. I really liked the first comment that I wanted to make, and I think I made it in the reaction video, is I really liked the close-ups. I liked the close-ups of how it started the episode. At first, when I first was watching it, I thought they were going a little long, and I was like, why am I watching everybody's faces for like, I don't know, how long? I mean, I'm sure it was only like a minute or whatever, but it felt like a really long time. But then when they did it at the end of the episode, I kind of enjoyed it because of the fact that I felt like the characters that they kind of did close-ups of had some interesting things going on in that episode, maybe a conflict or a change since the beginning of the episode. Kind of a lot happened, so I actually really liked that once it all came together at the end, even though I was like skeptical at first. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Morgan in this episode. I really liked Morgan's whole progression in this episode. I liked that he said, I don't die. I liked that that's kind of a callback. I mean, it's a callback to, I'm not even talking about the exact quote, if that makes sense. You know, even just if you go to like Clear and his journey through Here's Not Here and stuff like that, I feel like that was just such a great thing for him to say. And then, you know, when the three guys got shot, including Morgan, he didn't die. He has like some, it's like well, I was gonna say in Fear something, but if you don't watch that, I don't want to spoil it for you. But anyway, there's this, it's kind of, seems like somebody is looking out for Morgan. I don't know who, but it's, you know, and I feel like I really liked when he was kind of going Morganator, that he had these flashbacks to when he was trying to convince Rick, no, we don't have to go to actually that exact place. And no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to. And he built this cell while everybody was doing that. That's what Morgan was doing at that time. Instead of, so we can spare people, you know, and just the progression of how he actually got to that point, I feel like is kind of really interesting. And it was probably one of my favorite parts of the episode completely. Okay, so the next point that I'm going to talk about is going to be something that I'm kind of posing a question to you guys, and that is Ezekiel. And his, we'll say, positivity, right? I mean, it's kind of a good way to put it. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think it's overconfidence? do you think it's actually a good thing, you know, if your troops, so to speak, are going into battle, they should probably have confidence that they're going to win more so than lose, right? But how do you guys feel? Do you think he's being naive, or do you think he's literally doing it for just the morale portion? And the other question that I posed to you guys about that is, how do you think Carol actually feels about it? Do you think that it's kind of refreshing to her, that she kind of likes it, that to have somebody so positive? Or does she think like, I've seen so much shit, this guy doesn't know anything, I can't, you know, so let me know what you guys think about that. I don't really want to say that Ezekiel's naive, just my personal opinion, but I do think that maybe he hasn't been as like beaten down as some of the other characters on the show, and so they kind of get it a little more, so to speak, that it's kind of hard to be positive all the time, right? Okay, and the next thing that I wanted to get into was Erin and Eric. They just kept looking at each other way too much in that episode. I think I said that as well in my reaction, that like I felt like they were just checking on each other, and I was like, oh God, somebody's gonna take a bullet to the head. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, that's how it goes. I felt like, because a lot of those characters in that particular stand or that particular gunfight were very secondary, like not even secondary, but kind of just recurring characters, I was like, I feel like these are all the people who are gonna die. And I was so much more nervous for that particular sequence than like any of the others. So let me know what you think. Do you think Eric is going to survive? Is Erin going to get him to safety? They don't really have a doctor, do they? So ugh, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Next thing that I want to talk about, which I think might be one of the more divisive moments, and I'm going to try to play a little bit of devil's advocate here with this, and that is Tara versus Jesus. Obviously, the question that I'm posing to you guys, whose side are you on? And I am going to just talk a little bit about both of them and their perspectives. So from Jesus's perspective, the only thing that really resonated, I'm more so Team Tara, okay? Because we've just seen it time and time again. You leave somebody alive, they come back, it bites you in the ass. It's, you know, just over and over, like with the killer within and the governor and then the termites, and just, it keeps biting you in the ass, like, you know, but to be fair, it's such, I'm devil's advocate here, it's such a big organization, army, whatever you want to call it, Negan's people, that every single person needs to die? I'm literally asking you guys how you feel about it. Obviously that guy was not, that they came across, he was an asshole and whatever, but, you know, Negan has led by fear. He's made people fall in line by, you know, bashing people's heads in, you know, it's so that's the question that I'm just posing to you guys to see what you guys think about that. The moment that really kind of resonated with me, and again, I'm very aware that that particular guy was the worst, but when Jesus and Tara were aiming their guns at him, and Tara was like, we just need to shoot him, and Jesus said, he's got his hands up, he's surrendering. Who are we, he didn't say this, but I'm just saying, like, you know, from his perspective, who are we to just shoot people who are surrendering on sight? What do you guys think about that? Like, is that, you know, does he have a point? Does he not have a point? I mean, it's you know, just because I am mostly Team Tara, but I did try to, when I was watching the episode, to really kind of see where Jesus was coming from with this. I also think, if you think about Tara and you think about Jesus, Tara has some very personal stakes in this game. She was very, very close with Glenn, and she was close with Abraham as well. And Denise, who have been kind of the major fatalities of this war so far. And that's something that's very personal for her. She might be going off of a little bit of revenge. Whereas Jesus, I don't know if he's lost anybody that close to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the same way. So it's interesting to think, you know, there might be a reason that he's not as like, let's kill them all, because he doesn't have that like emotional, super big loss yet. I mean, there's always time, right, guys? Sorry, I'm reading my notes just briefly so I can see what I wrote. You know, but then let's talk about kind of on the side of Tara. Again, what I kept saying, you know, Tara has seen it a lot. You leave somebody alive, you know, and then somebody you love is dead in your arms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe not that particular image, but you know what I'm saying. And you see the writing on the wall when she first enters, and it said, Tommy says, kill the bitches, and there's a little bullet, like, where brain splatter. I mean, that basically says, no thank you. You know, no thanks to that. Like, these guys are assholes, and they can say anything now to, you know, make their case and say, oh, I'm a really good guy. So there's that. You know, do these people really actually need to be spared? And, you know, there is something to be said that this is war. This is war. This is not, you know, unfortunately, during war, it's, you don't really have the luxury of, you know, vetting every single other soldier on the other side. Are you actually a really good person deep down? The Alexandria, the Hilltop, and the Kingdom are fighting for a cause. If you are on the other side of that cause, it's not like I feel like anybody on Negan's side, you know, thinks that Negan's just a swell guy, but they could be there out of fear. Anyway, it's back and forth, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it a bit. The other thing that I wanted to kind of mention, just from Tara's perspective, which I find to be really, really interesting. If you guys remember in the season 6 premiere, where Maggie tells Tara that Nicholas tried to kill Glenn. I know, I'm going back. And Tara, her initial reaction was, oh my God, fuck Nicholas. I'm like, ew. She didn't really say that in particular, but you know. And so she said that, and Maggie did a little reminder for Tara and said, listen, you were on the other side of the fence with the governor. You were just an innocent, you know, soldier following, unbeknownst maybe to you that he was, but following a madman, and came and destroyed our home, and you were part of that. And Glenn spared you. Glenn did that for you. And I think that was always a beautiful reminder for Tara to be like, okay, yeah, you know, maybe people do need second chances. Maybe we shouldn't just go whatever. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, not just Tara, but I just clung to that scene in the season 6 premiere. But I think a lot of people kind of said, oh, you know, and kind of looked to Glenn a little bit for that good, you know, we should spare people and whatever. The thing is, Negan killed Glenn. And I wonder if, and I think it's a combination of that and Denise, but I wonder if there's just something like, you know, Tara's kind of thinking there was a very, very good man and a wonderful man who did believe that you should spare people, and Negan is the person who took that man from us. Do you get what I'm saying? I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I thought it was kind of interesting if you think about kind of the progression of Tara's character and getting her to the point that she is in this episode. Okay, so just let me know, are you Team Jesus or Team Tara? Okay, so now I'm just moving on to Rick's journey in this episode, which I thought kind of played into the title of the last episode, saying mercy. Rick went in to this mission, we'll say, right, to get guns. This is a war. And let's be very clear, if he did not get these guns, that's some shit. That sucks. That's not good. You don't declare war. You don't go up to, you know, Negan and start shooting everything and leading all these walkers in or whatever so you can go and get the guns. And then, you know, this is like the first full frontal assault of this war. Let's go. And then there's no guns. So it's kind of interesting. You see Rick and Daryl, though they focused a little bit more on Rick, that they are going in and they are doing everything they can. We got to find the guns. That is our mission. There is no, that's it. And then the guy comes. And as far as Rick knows, the guy is like trying to kill him. You know, he tackled him and he's on the other side and it's you or me. You know, again, war. So, you know, that happens where he kills the guy, and then then he finds Gracie, who some people are speculating is Negan's child, and some people are expecting that it was that guy's child, you know. So, but Gracie, nonetheless, which is, I think, resonates very clear with Rick, because it's kind of like looking at Judith. Like if Rick were to die, you know, Judith is slightly older at this point in time, but she was a baby for, you know, quite a few seasons at this point. And, you know, I think that really resonated with him. And it might be another step closer to him having slightly more mercy than wrath. We don't really know how this is going to play out, but that's, you know, kind of what I took from that. Though I don't know, it was weird that he just left the baby. I guess there are other people there, but if they're going to go and kill all the people with the baby, I don't know. How did you feel about, should he have taken the baby? Should he have, I don't even know. Like, just Rick chilling with a baby and like, it's just like, hey, what's up, Daryl? I didn't find guns, but I found Gracie. Like, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. And let's go to the final moment that I was like, what the? So, by the way, if you go back and you watch my reaction, you can tell how often I've rewatched The Walking Dead. It's so many times, okay, guys? So many times. Because I know a lot of people were like, I don't remember who that was. I knew from his voice. They didn't even have to show his face because I rewatch. It's embarrassing, but I rewatch The Walking Dead all the time, and I was like, and like you could see, if I think in the reaction, you can kind of see I'm just like, is that fucking Morales? And then they showed him, and I was like, what? All right, so I feel like this is a very controversial thing. Some people just don't care. And I'm kind of the mind, here's the thing, it was crazy to see Morales. Do I care so much about his safety? I don't know. I guess we have to find out what he's been up to, but he is a savior, so I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting for him to discuss whether he knows about Glenn, whether he gave a shit about Glenn. I'm interested to hear that. I'm interested somebody commented this on my video, but I'm interested for maybe him to come across Carol and underestimate her. I think that would be great. It is slightly unlikely. He went, I think, in the opposite direction when he left the group in season 1. There's been a bit of time that has passed since then, sure. And somehow he ended back up. I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of a leap of faith, but I hope that they explain it well. Some people are, you know, thinking it's too ridiculous to bring Morales back. Some people are excited to see him. Some, you know, whatever. I think it's kind of interesting, and I'm intrigued to see what happens next. The only thing that I did not like about that scene, and again, I've rewatched this so many times, I'm on board, you know. I hated the Rick, like, God, like, saying who he was. It just sounded so weird, because that's not what you would say in that moment. He would just say Morales. Like, I did not like the whole, you're Morales and you were from Georgia. For those of you fans who haven't watched season 1 in a good long time, you know, like, that's basically what it was. And I was just not feeling it. It just was, I really didn't like that part. But other than that, I'm excited to see, I mean, how they come up with whatever sort of explanation that they're coming up with. But yeah, that's about it for my weekly chat. Let me know what you guys think about kind of all the questions I posed in the comments, and I will see you guys again for the next reaction of The Walking Dead. Bye!